cocaine?
No!
Greetings, podcast listeners, and welcome to the Pic-a-Flic podcast, a series that features reviews of film and sometimes TV, both old and new, and is broken down the best way that I, your host, the Western Wonder, knows how. In this mini episode, I will break down my thoughts on the first couple of episodes of the latest season of Netflix's Squid Game. Yes, that's right. After 75 years, health issues,
My back! Oh, my back!
and other miscellaneous misadventures in my life, I'm so happy to still be alive to see this show's latest season get released. Now all I have to do is live another 15 to 20 to see the ongoing Batman and Spider-Man films conclude, and hell, maybe even Blade will be out. Alright, now let's get serious here. My happiness that I just mentioned was an exaggeration, as I kind of forgot about everything that happened within the show since it dropped 3 years ago, and that will be very obvious as I break down my thoughts on it in a few. But enough of my forgetfulness. Let's get right into the plot of the latest Squid Game season.
Whether you're killing innocent people in there or preying on them out here, you know it doesn't change a damn thing.
Player 456. What do you want from me?
I want you to send me in there again.
We are not trying to hurt you or collect your debts. We are simply providing you with an opportunity.
Hold still! You're it.
Mom, one more and I'll have enough to pay off all my debts.
Why come back now and risk your life all over again?
What I want is to stop the game once and for all.
The latest season brings back the risky game that we all know and love, but with some twists and turns along the way. Player 456, who won the game as seen in the previous season, returns to take down the frontman and his cronies behind the games with the assistance of some acquaintances. Also, there are some switch-ups from the previous round of games. New events with the exclusion of the introductory red light, green light, as well as tweaks to the rules to raise the stakes higher. Amidst the activities lie certain secrets that could affect the trajectory of 456's mission. Certain secrets that could be looking him right in the eye and doesn't even know the half of it. So my expectations coming into this new season were middling to say the least. But so far I've been digging the new episodes that the season has to offer. Now as this is still new and recent and I haven't gotten to the last episode yet, I'm going to ramble around my thoughts without spoilers. Here are some of the net positives from this latest season in my eyes. While the newer characters take some time getting warmed up to, the older characters from the previous season are given copious amounts of development from when we, the viewers, are first introduced to them. Particularly player 456, who we see going from the happy-go-lucky guy in season 1 to a man ready for revenge and justice here. The front man who goes from man in the mask to man behind the mask, and that's all I'll say on that front without elaborating. And the unhinged recruiter for these games, who goes from cool, calm, and collected to manic and on some of Ronald Reagan's finest Peruvian booger sugar sometimes. These characters have stood out to me so far as they're given solid storylines and some top-notch actors performing them to boot. Another thing that I can say that I'm enjoying so far is the intensity that certain scenes have. And the first episode has one of the most intense moments in the entire show that occurs in the final act between 456 and the recruiter. There's also some character building with a new set of characters that takes place outside of these games that are interesting to watch as they unravel. And now for the cons that I have for this latest season of Squid Game. If you expect to get right into the season with games by episode 2 at the earliest, you're gonna be waiting another episode or so for things to take off. I definitely thought that at some point, perhaps they'll just speedrun the games if nothing new is happening, but I was wrong about that clearly. And speaking of the games with the exclusion of red light, green light, and the first new game that was a refreshing change from the usual chaos that these events bring, albeit still with people's lives on the line, a lot of these new events curated for the latest round of games have been a bit underwhelming to watch thus far despite the creativeness behind them, and takes a bit of a backseat as the other plots occur outside of the setting. It's kind of a case of, this game is happening because it's a back and forth from one storyline with another, so it was a struggle to immerse at some points. There would be 2 other minor gripes that I'd like to mention, but as I'm not finished with the series yet, I'll keep my reservations on the low until I finish all the episodes, and in the case that I forget, I'll bring it up in a later review for the 3rd and final season, which many are considering to be the conclusion of this 2-part season of sorts. On the Pic-a-Flic rating scale so far, I'd have to give the latest Squid Game a light 3.5, but this could change after I finish the entire season. As mentioned, there are twists and turns here that do work, while others, not so much for me. The older characters are given some interesting development while you start to learn a bit more about the newer characters who may or may not survive at the end of the road. Ultimately, it seems like a slow-burning setup for more down the line, so I'm very intrigued to see where this story really ends up going after it's all been said and done. If you haven't seen it yet, give it a try and see what you think of it. And that's about all I have to say in this latest season so far, as I still have 2 episodes to go. Perhaps I will revisit it when the 3rd season comes out sometime in 2025, or not. If I get distracted by other movies, I probably will forget about the show again and I'll have to mention it at a later time. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to be the first to get notifications of when new reviews drop, be sure to subscribe to the pod wherever you listen to said shows, and tell a friend to tell another friend to check it out. Also, if you want to follow the show on social media, we can be found on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok under the username handle at Pic-a-Flic That is at PICAFLICPOD. And if review logging is your thing, then you may be familiar with Letterboxd, where you can also find non-audio exclusive reviews I do under the aforementioned Pic-a-Flic username. So be sure to follow me there if you use that platform. Thank you all for tuning in for this review, and I hope you enjoyed your stay, and I hope to see you in the new year with new reviews. But until the next one, this is the Western Wonder, and I'm signing out for now. Peace. And beware a crazy recruiter guy with a card asking if you want to play a game.
Bye, have a great time.